Alright, how's it going, everyone? This is Anon. None of this is financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. So, interesting day today. Obviously, we had the FOMC, minutes come out. Why is my chat not showing up? Let me see if I can fix this, because for whatever reason, I can't see my chats. I see nothing. Let me see. Docs. Chats. There we go. What's up, Hustle? How are you, bud? Let's see if I can snap this back in place. There we go. Alright, so getting everything up and ready. What's up, SS? How are you, bud? Oh, we got Margot in here. We got Valjean. What's up, guys? How's everyone's trading day? My guess would be probably not great unless you were short. All right. Here we go. We got Andrew in here. Just getting out of work there. We got Raid in here. Hood night, ladies and gentlemen. You think ATER's going to 180 before it pops? That's a good question. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it does hurt to think about where we are right now, but I mean, this is just where the market is. The market's right now tanking. We're gonna maybe retest those 360 levels before anything good might happen, or we could just pop back up. You never know. It's all about whatever they think are gonna burn the premiums. Let's take a look at some SpyMax Pain. Let's take a look at that real quick, because I think if we understand the macro, we can kind of understand. So right now, we'll get back to Ethereum, but I just want to cover SPY real quick. So right now, Max Pain is at 388. We are sitting at 377. So, just to throw this out there. So Max Pain's almost at like 388, 390, probably somewhere in that range. I guess we finished 375. Is that right? Is that where we finished? Let's take a look at these ones. They've got it at 388 as well. That means that most people, if you just kind of eyeball it, right? There was a lot of calls, right? But there's also a lot of puts, but there's a lot of calls. So, not shocking that we've been being pushed down, because if you look, most of the premiums on the upside. Because I think a lot of people are going into this thinking that, oh, well, everyone's bearish, we'll start buying calls. Apparently, a lot of people are. If you look at the let's see. It changes, though, as you get further out. So my guess would be this is retail, or maybe some institutions, like, well, calls are cheap, so they buy them. Just gives them more reason to, like, push it down. But if you look, as you get further out, all this stuff gets really bearish. So just throwing it out there, and this would give a reason why you would want to go and see what's happening long, because man, people are getting really, really, really bearish over here. I mean, look at the skew. Then people are getting really bullish back here, and I guess that's October. Let's if we track the monthlies. Yeah, that's a good amount. So there's a lot of premiums to be burned left and right. I think we chop now. I think honestly that we're going to be like chopping in this channel. Like we may be going down, but we're just chopping rapidly back and forth, just burning one side or the other. So I'm going to probably just take a look and see how I want to play it. But, it's just, we're having these wild swings. Just absolutely wild swings. So this was a pretty, right? This is when we were falling from the highs. They pretty aggressively, the volume picked up. We were oversold here, pushed back up, oversold for a while before it kind of consolidated back and then moved back up. I think at this point this is the part where we were overbought, where it really wasn't making sense why we were pushing up. And now we've swung the other way, where I think we're going to push down and then probably come back up at some point. Because remember, we've still got a pretty big gap here at like 408 roughly. So you want to see bears, you should see the Discord. People are ready to jump off the nearest. Yeah, that's not good. I'll be honest, I wasn't on the Discord hardly at all today. I saw somebody wrote me, so I did do that, but I just haven't been like in the office. And right now my phone is kind of MIA. Let me check to see. I'm curious. Let's see. See if we can find my phone. My phone has been missing now for a while. Find my Android. Did it get turned on? Nope. Still. So my phone's been off for 4 days. No one's turned it on. It's not a good sign. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what their game is, but they have not turned on my phone at all, or at least connected it to anything that I'm able to see, which is not giving me a lot of confidence that it's. I'm wondering if it got ran over. Some of us try to keep it real on Discord. I mean, let's go take a look. I guess, yeah, looks like you're right. Well, at least people are having a good sense of humor on there. I'm just reading through. Yeah, I mean, what's up, Hyun? How are you? ATER killing it, up several cents. I mean, all right, so the SPY was down almost 2%, which is a huge drop. You've got, let me just put this in perspective for all you guys. IWM was down 1.53, so like 1.5. And these are like what, like IWM has shares of ATER, so they were down like almost $1.50. So 272 on that one. And then, I mean, I was looking at like GameStop. They were down 2%. AMC was down like 1.26. BBBY was down like 4%. So like a lot of these meme stocks, APRN was down like 8% or 9%. Sorry, almost 10%. So there's a lot of stocks that are just getting absolutely hammered right now. And Ethereum actually was up 3 cents. Like, it's not big, but it is what it is. Yeah, unfortunately, Empire, my photos are not backed up to the cloud. All right. Yeah, so no, I did not. No one's seen my phone in days. It's not been turned on at all. I'm starting to think that it may have gotten run over. Guess it is what it is, right? When stock goes up, it goes down. When it goes down, it goes up. Yeah, I know a lot of other people are freaking out. Personally, I'm just mad I don't have more money to actually average down further. Like I'm able to buy like a couple shares here and there, and I'm trying to rearrange some things. But like we all know that they need to get it just to this line just to even unlock warrants. You already know where they're going. They're going to go up. So I personally hope they stay down here long enough where I can rearrange some things and put more money into this. I mean, you're losing money across the board for most things anyway. So, but yeah, like for some people, if you want to be chicken with your head cut off, and that's totally fine. Like you have every right to be upset when you see your money going down. I just know that at some point in the next, couple weeks, months, whatever, they've got to get this up to here just to unlock something. So, Mr. Margin called you today. Were you on margin? Why are you messing around with margin, Earthium? Yeah, don't play with margin. Like, all right. So here's the deal, right? Everyone knows just for them to unlock warrants, even just one warrant, they have to get the share price up to here. Which means that it just, whenever Armistice Capital feels like slapping the ass, because I'm pretty sure it's them, and it's not just them, there's also High Trail. So both of them combined are going to want to unlock their warrants and profit off them, right? So they bought them for $291, I think we established. So for them, they could make 30 cents or whatever, profit by selling them here, but they're not going to do that. You already saw what they did last time. They pushed it all the way up to 7 for what was it, 4 million shares. Now they have 7 million shares to unlock. They're going to want to run this as high as they can because when they start diluting, it's going to start dropping. So you're going to see it pop on ATER at some point. It's just a matter of whenever they feel like doing it. So, I mean, so if you already know that the stock has to go up at some point for them to unlock these warrants, and they've already done it once, why are you worried? Like, I would just be more worried that you can't average down right now. So, yeah, and that's the biggest problem for most of us is because everything else is down. There's not a lot of things to do. But, we already know the long game for these guys is they need to get their share price back up to unlock those. So, for me, I'm just looking at this like, this is a no-brainer. Like, I can buy down in the ones, and I know they're probably going to go to like 5 or 6, 7, 8, who knows how high we'll go this time. But, like, if I can make a 2-3x off this, that's pretty good. So, it all depends on how low you can get your average. I mean, if you're getting your average, the people that are buying now, like, you already know how this works. Like, these small caps, this is how they operate. And, like, I'm not freaked out about this at all. Like, the company's not going under, We know the drill on this. So, you think ATER might test 150s? Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, if the SPY's tanking and right now, what was this volume today? 1.6. Yeah, like, there's no volume on the stock. They can do whatever they want with the price. There's no one there to counteract it. And retail's not slapping the ass. So, anyone know why people are buying these $45 calls? They're probably, I just noticed that somebody had asked that question. They're probably playing it for an IV spike on ATER. All right. Let's take a look. Reading. All right. You want to look at BBBY? We can do that. Okay, so we all know about the run up, right? BBBY came down here, gapped down, consolidated, ran back up, gapped up here, right? We already filled that gap from here back here, right? But we have not filled this gap here on the daily at 22 down to like 20. We also have a huge gap here between 16 and like 12, right? Because these 2 days it just gapped down, then gapped down. So right now we know that at some point it's going to have to run back up to fill those gaps. It's areas of liquidity that they're going to want to do. Now the question is, what's the catalyst to have them do it? Will it just be FTDs? Will it be like an earnings like this? You know, where they go, oh, maybe things aren't as bad as we thought. You know, will they push down to a spring and then just, you know, it all depends. So, but yeah, overall, like I'm not as concerned. But personally, for these, don't try to time options. In my opinion, like, you know, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy shares of this because I don't know what's going to happen. Like some of my options I already owned from before, and they're obviously underwater. But in this case right here, I'm looking for these gaps to get filled at some point. So I would do leaps, or I would just do common shares. That's not financial advice. That's just what I'm doing. So. Yes, Goat's got his average down to 350. That's pretty close to those warrant prices. That's pretty good. If AVCT goes to 30, that goes to 150. That'd be a blessing. Yeah, didn't they have some sort of news today? If I remember correctly, I read something. This is the one though with those 15-cent warrants, right? They're going to run up probably on warrants. That's like, just like, you know, they're going to pump. This is literally what the definition of pump it up is. Like, they're going to trick retail into thinking it's a great ticker. Their retail will FOMO in. They will be buying when they are selling the warrants, and then all of a sudden the price will drop like a rock. Like, this is what we are doing. I'm just typing some of that. All right. So, Anon, do you have any books you'd recommend about options? Yeah, I mean, you can do it one of two ways. I would highly recommend, I think we actually posted some of these in education in the Discord. So here's our Discord. You guys are pretty funny. Andy was making me laugh. Under, I believe it is, let's pull up, sorry, close down some of these. Market education. I think there's this thing on educational videos, and there are a couple ones on options tradings right here. We also have an options section where a couple people have posted things in the past, as well as under, I believe it's fundamentals. I put a bunch of stuff. If you go to the very top on this one, I left a link here in this Google Drives, and when you open it, we'll come over here, right? And there is literally a options trading collection, and there's a bunch of books here. So these are all free to you guys. I just put it there so people have access to them. So, but yeah, I would highly recommend diving in if you want some. If you like reading, there's tons of these free ones for you there inside of our Discord, and you know, you also have YouTube as a guide, and then at some point I'll probably do like some educational videos on them. I just haven't had time with work. Okay, so AVCT, let's see. Let's take a look. So, AVCT. Alright, so you've got these 69 million warrants. You also have convertible notes. So, even with them canceling maybe 15 million shares of dilution, you still have a crap ton of dilution, and you've got no cash. So this is going to run up probably just on warrants. Yeah, so like they reduced, I think. So here's some SPAC warrants. You've got your February warrants here. And then I believe it's over here. You've got these convertible notes, though, at 15 cents. Right? So, like, they can cancel 15 million shares of dilution. It helps a little bit, but at the same time, like, there's still a lot of dilution there. Word on the street is AVCT has a buyout, but I'm playing it off the warrant info. Yeah, I mean, like if you want to play for the, it's kind of like what Ethereum's doing. They'll move up, when they will move on this, right? They'll move off of the warrant pump. Like they're going to want to get the stock as high as possible and get retail excited, and then what they'll do is they'll dump on them. Like this is a bullish signal right there. You've got like the volume's not great yet, but like you're talking about, like you can see right now, you have a slight move up here. It looks like it's some sort of positive divergence there. You've got the MACD crossing over. You've got some indicators pushing back up. You've got the CCI, and it looks like this is probably the worst of it. So you might see some less red, and then at that point it changes over on the TTM. So like, how much is a dilution tracker subscription? You can pull it up. I know we have, I believe, a 10% off code for it if you're interested. I know if you go under the Discord, right here, discounts and codes, dilution tracker right here. This is the code you use, the retail collective, and they will give you 10% off. I don't know how much it cost initially because they gave me a free version. Just they were pretty cool about that. They were like, I haven't received any money from them, so I don't push products, but I do think this one's a pretty good one. And they gave me a free account, so for them, they get me plugging them, and you guys get 10% off, and then I don't get any money from them, but that's fine with me. The account's worth its weight in gold, I think, because I don't have to read through as many filings. So. You guys we could probably figure it out. Let's see. If we go into dilution tracker and say, I don't know, how much is it? Trying to figure it out for you. Anyone else know offhand? Oh, here we go. It looks like you can get one that is pro quarterly, which breaks down to $1.30 per day, or it looks like 117 every 3 months, or you can do the monthly pro, which is 60 every month, and that would be 10% off either one of those. So, just so you guys see, there it is. So this one's like quarterly, and this one is monthly, but you would get a 10% off either one of them. Hey Becca, how are you? Yeah, I mean, at this point right now, you can see rumors all you want until they actually get, I see some filings that say that they're getting bought out. I'm not speculating on it with that many warrants and that many, convertible notes at 15 cents. Like, to me, they're looking for cash. They need it to run. It can run, but like, I'm not going to untie other positions to jump on this. To me, it's like, one of those high risk ones, because at some point, they're just going to dump out on them. There's just, we don't know what the number is for them to, get to. So I'm not going to rearrange stuff to chase that. I'm already in a bunch of other positions. So how's everyone doing? Everyone okay? I know a bunch of people are, freaking out because of the market, but just remember, everything goes in phases. And look at this. This is the COVID crash, right? So the stock market just absolutely tanked here. And then look at it. Just a long grind of like going up. We finally have some like downward pressure, but like if you look at the history, like if we go and do a time frame and I pull it up for max available, right, on the daily, this thing just goes up over the long term, right? Like you can go back years and years and years and just see that the market typically goes up, right? This was the 2007 crash, financial crisis, right? This is the crash here. But if you look at these numbers, it got down to 73 on the SPY from a high of 156. I mean, we're up in the 4s now, or we were, and now we're in the 3s. Like, even if we crash back down and fill this gap down here that was left back in here, we're still so much higher over the long term. So all right, so the Valley Suns wants to know, do you think ATER will see the 18 to 20 level again? So you have to account for the shares outstanding has changed. So your amount of your float has definitely changed. So that 18 to 20 level is going to be much harder to get to unless Ethereum actually has like legitimate, like good, like it's turned the corner and now is like looking as a growth company. Can it hit those levels again? Yeah, down the line. In the immediate, probably not. Because the sheer amount of dilution that's happened over the last couple months, basically just the last year, a good amount of dilution has happened. So I I don't see 18 to 20 as a realistic target right now. I think more in the like 5 to 8. Before we had all this dilution, yeah, those were very attainable numbers. Now it's probably going to be more like the like 5 to 8 or 8 to 12 would be like the highest I could see it going for, at least right now. You know, things have changed obviously because the float has changed. So you always have to take that into account when you look at these things, because if everything was like static, where like nothing changed on the float, then yeah, absolutely those numbers would be achievable. But you know, when you start adding an extra, 50 million shares, yeah, like the numbers are going to change, and you will not see those high levels at the same time again. I mean, the tiering at one point was like 49, and we're not going to see those levels for a long, long time on the stock, because the stock only had like 12 million shares back then. Do you think the amount of synthetics possibly increasing could make it easier for us to... So here's the problem with all that stuff, right? So like back when we were running up... Here, I'll pull up ATER again so I can kind of explain it. So back when we were running up during, I guess it was... This one was... No, this is the high, right? This got up to like 40, 49, whatever. This right here, this run, was because... retail had locked up the float, and there was tons of naked shares out there, right? And what ended up happening was High Trail sold their shares onto the market and allowed them to reset, right, the FTDs. But during this time, Ethereum started actually having to I guess, issue out the shares for their debt covenant thing, which changed the float, which allowed shorts to cover during this time frame. Then they continued to basically go and run out of cash, and then they had to do a private placement here in March, right? So they do the private placement here in March. What happens in April? Oh, it runs up. You know why? Because they got their shares. They wanted to make some money off it. So, and they also had enough shares in the back end, the 7 million that were going to be in September, that at this point, this thing started moving, right? So we had this pressure. We had this like... There were naked shorts happening here, but the problem is these guys keep doing this, where the longs, like in this case Armistice Capital that went on this one, they unloaded 5 million shares, which probably reset every FTD. So like, even if they were naked shorting during this time frame, which they probably were, and we already know the brokerages were not like, they weren't delivering. They were just allowing people to buy shares, and they were not actually going and trying to find them. So they were failing to deliver during this time frame. We are on Reg Show, which is an indicator that some effery is going on. And so, yeah, like there were synthetics that were not accounted for. The problem is whenever you have these institutions, or in this case, this the largest institutional holder. Sorry, I sound like Hodor. Sorry, and any Game of Thrones fans would probably find that funny. But yeah, whenever you have someone like Armistice who literally pumped the stock and then dumped 5 million shares, yeah, you're going to see downwards pressure. So, yeah, so I just want to make sure everyone's like kind of like understands why things are different now than back then. Like this stock has changed, and that's the problem. Is like people don't. What's the float size now? The float size is like, I don't know, like 69 million or something like that. It's hold on. That's the shares outstanding is 69 million. The float itself is like 20. Let's see. Let's see what they have. Ortex has them at 43 million. So that's what they've got the free float as. This is wrong though. We think we established it's like 68, 69 million. So yeah, but I mean, there's been a ton of dilution on the stock. between the private placement and also the hold now should be holder. Hold the door. That's pretty clever, I will say that. That was pretty interesting. Now we know why Hodor's Hodor. So, yep, CJ's comfortable with ATER. Won't have cash to buy until Friday. Yeah, and that's totally fine. Like, it will run at some point, and people will make good money. So, all right. Anything else going on? Everything good with everybody? There's only 17 of us hanging out right now, so I'll probably cut it short tonight. Obviously, the FOMC did what we thought it was going to do. We could see a bounce at some point, but I don't know when it's going to be yet. So on the SPY and on the entire market as a whole, things look pretty bearish right now this week, but I think towards the end of the week we could see a bit of a reversal and then a move up. Just why not burn some of those puts, because there's tons of puts that are ready to be burned. So you guys have a wonderful evening, and hit me up if you want on if you had any questions I didn't answer here. That's pretty low. I thought even though we aren't GME, GME's float was 60 to 70 million. Yeah, and now they're 309, I think, right now, million for their shares outstanding. Because remember, they did the reverse split, so or the 3-to-1 split, yeah. All right, you guys have a great night. I will see you tomorrow. If you have any questions, you can DM me on Discord. I'll leave the link in the comments section of the video, if I can find it. Invite people. Never expire. Generate link. Copy. There you go. So if anyone is interested, you can join the Discord. It's free. And then you can always DM me if you have any questions. I'll try to do my best to get back to you guys when I can. Or you can at me, in one of the rooms. But I try to get to all of them, but it's just my schedule's been really hectic with work. But yeah, you guys have a great evening, and we will go ahead and see you tomorrow. And if you got any questions for me or anyone else in the group, just throw them out there, and we'll get to them tomorrow. All right. Night, guys.